Good morning, all. Today, I am discussing about choosing the right generic strategy. That means how to choose right generic strategy. Already, we are discussing about different types of generic strategies in previous class. Now, how to select the best one, and the right one for our organization. Okay. So, according to our organization, according to our business, then you have to choose the generic strategy, right? Then your choice of which generic strategy to pursue underpins every other strategic decision you make. So it's worth spending time to get it right. Okay. So under this, your choice of which generic strategy, that means what strategy you have to choose under from above four to pursue underpins every other strategic decision you make. So according to that, you have to make the strategic decision, take the decisions depending upon this generic strategy. So it's worth spending time to get it right. That's why, depending upon this generic strategy, your strategic decisions are make. Okay. So that's why if the decision is very, very important, the decision making process is very, very important. That's why you have to choose the right one while you are spending some time. So you have to spend time, no problem, to take some time, but you have to choose the right one. That is very, very important. Okay. If there is no delay, sorry, if delay, but you have to wait and you have to select the right one. There is no problem at all. Okay. Then, but you do need to make a decision. Then Porter specifically warns against trying to hedge your bets by following more than one strategy. Okay. So Michael E. Porter, so he said, and he warns specifically trying to hedge your bets. Okay. So then that means it is just like a betting. Okay. So strategy is nothing but like a betting. Betting means not that one. So you have to take the challenge. Bet done and done. So just like that. So strategy is always in a definitely, suppose you make any bet, that means you take any challenge, there is a hurdles. Definitely there will be a hurdles. Okay. So you have to fight against that hurdles. That means some disturbances. Okay. So hedge your bets means there is some problems while you go for betting. So definitely there. Suppose if you take an IPL, so in cricket matches also, we are going for betting. So the result is not in our hands. Okay. So depending upon the performance of the players and the team, depending upon all the factors and luck also. Okay. So depends upon all these things, then you win the bet. So by following more than one strategy, suppose if you are following more than one strategy, it's like a hedge or bets. So whether it is success or not, it is good or bad. So you will not get anything until and unless you have to wait up to come up to getting result. Okay. So when result comes, then only you have to know what is the effect of your selected strategy on your business. Okay. So that is important. Then one of the most important reasons why this is wise advice is that the things you need to do to make each type of strategy work appeal to different types of people. So after that, one of the most important reason why this is wise advice is that the things you need to make each type of strategy work appeal to different types of people. Suppose for some people you have to follow some type of strategies, and some kind of people you have to follow different types of strategy. So depending upon the persons, the strategy will be changed. Like, so then it's a wise advice. It's nothing but a wise advice. So, and things that you need to make each type of strategy work appeal to different types of people. So you have to develop different types of strategies for different types of people. Then cost leadership requires a very detailed internal focus on processes. But cost leadership requires a very detailed internal focus on processes. So it's mainly focus on internal factors and internal processes. So differentiation, on the other hand, demands an outward facing, highly creative approach. So differentiation is nothing but it is completely based on demand and external environment, and it is a highly creative approach. So because the differentiation is completely depends upon R&D, research and development. So R&D is very, very important. That's why it is a creative approach. Then, so when you come to choose which of the three generic strategies is for you, it's vital that you take your organization's competencies and strengths into account. Okay, after that, when you come to choose which of the three generic strategies is for you. So suppose you have to choose three generic strategies, which one is better? Then it's vital that you take your organization's competencies and strengths into account. So it fulfills and it is used to face the competition, and also it used to develop our strengths. Okay, so which strategy you have to choose, that is helps to achieve these two things. Okay, what are the two things? Competency, that means competitive competition, then strengths. Okay, then use the following steps to help you choose. So then you have to choose the right strategy. There is some steps. So step one, for each generic strategy, carry out a SWOT analysis of your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats you would face if you adopted that strategy. So first, while you are choosing a strategy, when you are choosing a strategy for an organization, for every generic strategy, then you have to perform a SWOT analysis on each and every strategy. Okay. So what are the strategies? There are four already we are discussing. So cost leadership, differentiation, cost focus, differentiation focus. So you have to perform SWOT analysis on cost leadership, and SWOT analysis on differentiation, and SWOT analysis on cost focus, and SWOT analysis on differentiation focus. So strength, weakness, opportunity, threats analysis. Okay. So that is very, very important. You have to perform the SWOT analysis on each and every generic strategy. And having done this, it may be clear that your organization is unlikely to be able to make a success of some of the generic strategies. Then only you have to find out which one is suitable for your organization, and each and every strategy, what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses and what are the opportunities and what are the threats. You have to know all these things. Then which one having more strengths and which one having more opportunities, then you have to choose that type of the strategy for your organization. Okay, that is step one. That is the use of SWOT analysis. Then next one, step two. So in step two, use five forces analysis to understand the nature of the industry you are in. The next step is have to analyze the industry, the nature of the industry. For that purpose, you have to perform a five forces analysis that is also developed by Michael E. Porter. Okay, this is also developed by Michael E. Porter. So under these five forces, what are the five forces are there? So first force is rivalry among existing competitors. Second one, bargaining power of buyers and threat of substitute products, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of new entrants. So these are the five forces are affecting every type of industry, any type of businesses. So for every type of business, these five forces are very, very important. Then you have to analyze each and everything in detail. So first one, threat of new entrants. First one we have to discuss about threat of new entrants. So threat of new entrants means in every business, there is a chance to enter new people in that business because you are getting more profits and you are in a high profit zone. Then ultimately, some of the people are also entering what type of business you have to do. Then they are also entered into that business. Suppose your business is suppose some soap business, so it is very good in the market. Then ultimately another one is also entered into the entered into that business and slowly occupy your market share. Okay, so there is a threat of new entrants. This is a threat. Okay, so competition is increased. That's why it is called as threat. And this one is belongs to external environment. Okay, this one is belongs to external environment. So under the threat of new entrants, what are the points you have to discuss? Barriers to entry. So the persons who want to enter a business, then ultimately there is a chance of barriers. That means there is some barriers while entering into the business. Okay, so already huge competition or something, and some other problems because the present situation. Now we are taking the present situation, COVID situation. That right now nobody is entering into the new businesses because there is no chance because everybody is lost in losses. So because everybody lost their incomes because of lockdowns or something. So that's why in this way, then you are entering into a new business. Then ultimately there is some problems definitely. So that's why the you have to overcome these barriers. Then second one is economies of scale. So economies of scale means so that means uh, you have how I am explaining. So with example, okay. So suppose in economies of scale, then there are so many factors are there. So already this one is covered in the MEFA. So economies of scale means, so we have done the production process in a economic way. So the scale of production in a economy. That means how much you have to save the raw material or something, the inputs. That is nothing but called as economies of scale. So that is also one of the problem. So new entrants for new entrants. Then third one is brand loyalty. So already there are so many brands are there in the market, and for that brands there is a loyalty. So the brand is believed by, trusted by so many people already. So then you are entering into the market. Then this one, the brand loyalty is also become a problem to your product because you don't have any brand loyalty because you are a new entrant. So that's why there is no brand image for your product. So ultimately, this is also one of the problems for you. And then capital requirements. After that, the important thing is capital requirements. So you need some capital to run your business. So according to the business requirement, you have to arrange the capital. Otherwise, you are unable to do the business. Okay. So the next one is cumulative experience. So cumulative experience is also very, very important. So there is a lack of experience because the new entrants are not having any previous experiences in business. They are started new business. So then they didn't have experience on that uh, product processing. That means operations and all the things. So that's why that is also a problem for these people. And next one is government policies. Government policy is also one of the barrier to entry new people into the business. So the government should not encourage the type of business. Then ultimately that is one problem for new entrants. And that's why, so the government policy is also showing impact on new entrants. That new entrant means new the people who are entered into newly entered into that business. That is called as new entrants. So then access to distribution channels. So they are new to the business, so then they are unable to access distribution of channels. So how the stock is distributed from production point to customer. So in this way, there is lack of knowledge and a lack of experience. Then they are unable to use distribution channels in a proper manner. And switching costs. Switching cost means all some costs are switches. That means shifted to one to one. So that is switching cost. That is also one of the barriers for new entrants. So in this, you have to analyze the threats of new entrants. So what are the threats for new entrants? Already we are discussing. So that is threat of new entrants. And the next one is bargaining power of buyers. So bargaining power of buyers is also very, very important. So the bargaining power of buyers means how much they effort for your product. Suppose you are offering your product with 100 rupees, but the bargaining power of buyers. So always the buyer wants to get that product in a lowest cost. So but you are offering with a new cost, the high cost. So then ultimately the customer, the power of buyers is also shows impact on the industry. So then bargaining power of buyers under this number of customers. So how many customers are there for your product? That is one factor. And second one, size of each customer order. And size of each customer order means how much units they are purchasing or how many products they are purchasing. So that is size of each customer order. And then third one, differences between competitors. So what are the major differences in between competitors? Suppose for our competitor for our so A, B, C, D, there are four people are there. So suppose you are also do the same business. Suppose you will be treated as a E. So for example, so for E, A, B, C, D, these four are competitors. So how to face the competition? That is very, very important. And also how to differentiate between competition. So A, B, C. So what is the difference between A and what is the difference between A and B and what is the difference between B and C and what is the difference between A and C. So in this way, you have to analyze what are the differences are there in the competition. Next one, price sensitivity. So that is also another important thing, price sensitivity. So because I am ready to buy, I have desire to buy that product, but I am unable to buy this product due to lack of money. So price sensitivity is also very, very important. While you are offering low cost services or low cost items, then ultimately there is a problem of sale. So that's why you are unable to purchase this product because they are in high cost. So price sensitivity is also very, very important. So then buyer's ability to substitute. And suppose if the product is not there, they're substituted with the another product. This is also good and this one is very useful. So they're compromising in any way. So that is buyer's ability to substitute. And the next one, so how the buyers are substitute our product with another product. So that is also one of the factor. And buyer's information availability. So buyer's information is available for one person to another person. That is also very, very important. So then switching cost. So that is the same thing. So then third one, threat of substitute products. So for every product, there is a substitute in general. So because you are already there in the market, so the new people are also entering into the market. That's why your product substituted with another product. Suppose if I are taking an example of tea and coffee. So tea and coffee are both are substitutes for each and every one. So if suppose there is non-availability of coffee, then you choose tea. And if there is no tea, then ultimately you have to select coffee. So vice versa. Okay. So that is an important thing. So threat of substitute products, that is always there. So many people are, because new entrants are entering to the market and they are substitute our products with their products. So number of substitute products available. How many substitute products are available? They available. And next one, buyer propensity to substitute, and how much capable the buyer substitute our product with another product. So that is also important one. And relative price performance of substitute. So the relative price, how to calculate the relative price. So for the performance of substitute, and then perceived level of product differentiation switching cost. So perceived level of product differentiation, how much level you have to predict or you have some estimation. Then perceived level of product differentiation. Then you have to maintain that perceived level of product differentiation. So that is one problem. So perceived level of product differentiation means the people are differentiate comparison your product with another product. So then they are find some problems in your product. Then ultimately this leads to some problem. So that's why perceived level of product differentiation is also important. And then next one, switching cost is the same thing already I am discussed. So then bargaining power of suppliers. Next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth one, bargaining power of suppliers. So that is also one of the important thing. So bargain power of suppliers means the suppliers also bargaining. That means they are asking some benefits or discounts or something. So for that purpose, they are bargained power of suppliers, bargaining power of suppliers. So under this, number and size of suppliers. So the number of and size of the suppliers is important. And after that, uniqueness of each supplier's product. And what is the uniqueness of each supplier's product? And suppose A is a supplier, he sends some raw material, and B is someone, B sends some raw material, and C sends and different raw materials. So in this way, so uniqueness of each supplier product. Okay. So under number and size of suppliers, how many numbers of suppliers are there? And uniqueness of each supplier's product, and what is the differences between one product, one supplier material, and you have to select another person, then you have to compare both of them. Okay, then you have to find out all the things. Then for that purpose, there is a uniqueness in the every each and every supplier product. And next one, focal company's ability to substitute. So that means there is an ability to substitute. That is another thing. So then next one, middle one. So rivalry among existing competitors. So rivalry against existing competitors means. So always there is a rivalry in between existing competitors because there is a price war. Already I told you. So there is a price war in between competitors, always there. So that's why rivalry among existing competitors. There is a rivalry in between existing competitors and with me or some people. So that is another problem that leads to another problem. Okay. So then the number of competitors, how many number of competitors are there? That is the first point. And second one, diversity of competitors. So the in the competition there is a diversity. So you have to mention the diversity also. And next one is industry concentration. So it is mainly focused on industry concentration. So So after that, industry growth, that is also another important one. Industry growth is also very, very important, very significant factor. So in the rivalry among existing competitors. So then industry concentration and industry growth, that is also important, industry growth. Then after that, industry growth, that is also another important one. So industry is in a growth stage or not. So there is a problem. If there is a problem, how to overcome that problem. So then quality differences. There is a quality differences, that is also important. So for A product, what type of quality is there, and for product B, what type of quality is there. So then depending upon this quality differences, you have to compare the products with one with another. So that then you have to know differences between quality, then only you have to select the product. Then brand loyalty. So brand loyalty means for each and every company there is a brand loyalty. That means that is nothing but an well-known persons in that place. Then our well-known product is there with you. So that means from my side. So is there any good product or a worthful product is there with me? Then ultimately our brand will become a brand, good brand. So our brand is becoming a loyal brand. Okay. So that's why the brand loyalty is very, very important. So that means the people are trust your brand name, and that means your quality and quantity, all these things. Then barriers to exit. After that, there is a barriers to exit. So always there is always it is not there, but some of the conditions, in some of the conditions there will be a barriers to exit and switching cost. That is a common thing. So in this way, you have to analyze these 5 forces, and after that, then you have to choose the implement the strategy. That is step 2. Then step 3. So this is also important one. So in this step 3, compare the SWOT analysis of the variable strength. Analysis of the viable strategic options with the results of your 5 forces analysis. So it is viable strategic options with the results of your 5 forces analysis. So after 5 forces analysis, you are getting a result. Then depending upon that result, you have to compare the SWOT analysis of the each and viable strategic options. So we have some strategic options. For each and every strategic option, you have to done SWOT analysis, and after that you have to compare both of them. So for each strategic option, ask yourself how you could use that strategy to. So how you are using that strategy, everybody is asking. So then you simply said reduce or manage supplier power. So you have to reduce or manage supplier power. So after that, reduce or manage buyer customer power. Then you have to reduce and manage buyer customer. So buyer customer power. So and come out on top of the competitive rivalry. So how to overcome the rivalry in the industry? That means competition. How to overcome this one? That is also big one. Then reduce or eliminate the threat of substitution. So if there is a substitution for our product, then ultimately we are getting losses in the market. So for that purpose, we have to maintain. Nobody substitute your product. That is very, very important thing. Suppose there is a substitute for your product, then ultimately the customers are moving that to another person. That means substituter. So that is another important thing. Then reduce or eliminate the threat of new entry. Always you have to try. Nobody is entering into the market. That means you don't hesitate or don't take any further action. So the government will allow them. So because they are submitting all the things, then he feels new entry. So then this is the problem right now. So that's why reduce or eliminate the threat of new entry. So you are creating, that means uh, you have to eliminate the threats of new entry. So nobody is entered into the market newly. So you have to create the brand uniqueness and the brand value, and then you have to uh, provide all the facilities. Then it will be very much useful for your organization. Then select the generic strategy that gives you the strongest set of options. So then you have to select the generic strategy, and that gives you the strongest set of options. So then it gives strongest set of options. Okay. So this is about step 3. So the remaining things are discussed in next class. Okay.